Welcome to Money Talks. I'm your host, Miss Rufo, and joining me for today's roundtable discussion are Algonquin Regional High School students, Christian Jorgensen, Julie Edson, and Grace Russo. Thank you everyone for taking time out of your busy high school schedules to be with us today to talk about our favorite thing, money. In this segment of Money Talks, we will discuss why and when our Algonquin teens spend their money and ultimately answer the questions of just how financially prepared are our teens to enter the wild world of consumerism. So thank you for joining us. My first question, I think, is going to be for you, Christian.
All right.
Name something that you purchased that maybe you regretted.
Yeah. I think something that I usually regret purchasing is probably like food. Like especially now that I have like the ability to drive wherever I want since I have my license. It's very easy to like just go and get like Chipotle or Panera or something, and it doesn't take, it's not like, it doesn't take as much time for us now as it would like without our licenses. And obviously that's more expensive than just going home and like eating what your parents bought from like the store, or eating leftovers or something. So I think like in the long run, I'm probably wasting a lot of money that I could be like saving just, eating my parents' food.
Mm-hmm. Julie, do you have any regrets?
Probably like those, you go online, little clothes shopping, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Food too, yeah.
Food's a big one. And how about you, Grace?
Yeah, I think, Julie, the clothes, you buy something and it's too big or you're never going to wear it, you're like, well, can't really return it now, so.
Sometimes we call this buyer's remorse. So we buy something, we want it so badly. We don't necessarily need it, but we want it. And then when we get it home, we look at it and say, oh, why did I do that? Do any of you return things that you've purchased?
No.
Depends how much it was. If it's like under 20, it's just like a little bit too lazy to go and do that, but over, definitely.
I'm the
get
same
that
way.
money
I
back.
think if someone's returning like stuff that's meant for me, it's not me. It's probably like my mom or something, because I don't buy my own clothes, so I usually don't return stuff like that. So
a recent Marketing Vox survey stated that teens spend $259 billion on stuff. So $259 billion. My question is, you said you've had some regrets, you've purchased some things, food, clothing. Where do you get $259 billion? Not necessarily you personally, but some of you may have that. But where do you have jobs? Do you use your parents' money? Where do you get where do you get your income?
When I was younger, I had an allowance, so I used my parents' money. But like in the last few years, I've been working at like a tennis club nearby, and I teach there, and that's how I make money now. And now I usually don't spend my parents' money. I usually spend my own, like when I'm on my own and buying stuff.
Now that you have your own money, are you more conscious about what you're spending your money on? Are you budgeting? How do you know how much money you have?
Yeah. Usually, I usually check my bank account like once or twice a week just to make sure like I know how much I have. And I feel like now, especially in the last couple of years, I've been doing a lot more like research to see like, oh, what am I really getting like with my money, and is this really worth it? I feel like before I didn't really care as much. I just thought like, oh, this will be something so cool to buy, and so I just bought it. But now that I'm like spending my own money, I feel a little bit more cautious.
Yeah, I have 2 jobs. I work at Trombetta's and Playtown Express. The tips are really nice. Sunday mornings, those private parties, really good. But I'm definitely less cautious now that I have an income, I would say, with my parents' money, because I would know I'd only have a certain amount. But like with the hours, it changes every week on how much I'm getting. So I check my bank account every day, but I'm not really as cautious as what I'm spending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a job all year round at Tommaso. I'm a host, and then in the spring, I ref lacrosse. So it's like, I think I agree with Julie. When I was younger, when I didn't have like my own income that I was working for, I think I definitely spent less money. And now like I can drive and I can do stuff, and I tend to just kind of spend it as much as I want. But yeah.
And you three have jobs. What's the most expensive thing you've had to purchase, and was it worth it?
Mine was definitely not worth it. Got into a car accident. It was a Beamer, so it was really expensive. So that I could either pay the family $3,200 or have my insurance go up $500 for 6 years. So I went with that to save the $200. But I definitely had to pay for that. Came out of my savings.
And you had to pay for that?
Yeah.
Not your parents?
No.
And did you
not.
learn a lesson with that?
Okay, they were definitely speeding, but probably come to the complete stop at the stop sign.
I think my most expensive purchase was probably, I think this was like a little more than a year ago. I got a computer, and that was probably like a little more than $1,000. So definitely on like the pricey end. But I feel like this was definitely one of my like purchases that was definitely worth it, because I use my computer like every single day to like do homework or other stuff. But yeah, that purchase for me was definitely worth it. And I think like when I'm spending more money, I feel like my purchases are like they're more value to me.
Mine was probably a concert ticket over the summer, and I think it was worth it.
Definitely worth it. How much was that concert ticket?
Like $150 maybe.
And were they good seats?
They were decent, yeah.
Decent.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It was a lot, yeah.
A lot of. I think Mr. Clark's first concert, he probably paid 25 cents for that concert seat. So it's inflation. So, we have jobs, we buy expensive things. What do you think is the ideal age for a teen or someone to get a job? What is your ideal age?
I don't really know if there is an ideal age, because like for me, when I started working, it wasn't because I wanted to like make money and get rich. It's just because I had a lot of free time, and I thought that was for me the best way to spend it. Obviously, like if someone is in a different financial situation, their perspective might be different, and they might actually have to work. In that case, I feel like it really just depends on, do you really need to work? And if obviously you do, you probably need to be a little younger.
I agree with Christian, but also I think it really depends on like if you're driving or not, because once you get your license, you're going everywhere with your friends and you're making stops for food all the time. I think it's really important to have a job by then. But at the same time, it really depends on your financial situation and what you're doing after school.
Yeah, I think that like if you're not as busy as like say someone else, you should probably like think about like the responsibility that you're gonna. And I agree with getting it when you get your license, but also saving up for that. And like if you have to pay for your own gas, you're definitely gonna need it's expensive almost every week, so you're gonna want to have money by then. So I got my first job at 15 or 14, like when I was a freshman. I think it worked well.
Good. Now, we hear a lot about people who are having financial problems. Teens, financial problems, family, financial problems. How often do teens talk about financial problems? And what do you think financial problems are?
I feel like personally, when I'm with friends, I don't really talk about money too much, because usually when I talk with my friends, I'm talking about either like something school related or just like hobby related, and like money for me like never really comes up, to be honest. But like I feel like as a teen, we sometimes do forget maybe other people aren't as fortunate as we are, and vice versa. So I guess you do have to be a little careful with what you say. Like, you don't really want to flaunt what you have in the face of someone else, because that might offend them if you don't really know their financial, situation.
I think financial problems for like an adult would be like struggling to make like your like bills like every month. But like as a teen, like I have friends that like have $1 in their bank account, and that's all they have for a long time. But it's definitely, I don't know, it's like just a daily thing. Like I feel like a lot of us, like I just talked to my friends like the other day, and we all decided we weren't going to buy each other Christmas presents because we're all broke. So.
Yeah, and I think we kind of always joke about, oh, I'm broke, and it's kind of true. You have like $20 in your bank account or something like that, but it's true. I mean, if you're paying for your own stuff, it's kind of like you're less cautious, and then you realize that you can't really afford the things that you need, like gas or like food or something. And yeah, it's definitely different with adults, and they have a lot more responsibility to like pay for. But I think that as teens, we need to also pay for our own things, and we need to take that responsibility.
So on that, paying for your own stuff, how are you planning to pay for college? Does your family have a plan? Do you have a plan? As seniors, college is a few months away. What have you done to prepare? For me, I think my family is paying for my tuition, but I definitely I've been saving up money because I know that, I'll probably be spending money at college, and I feel like obviously, my parents aren't going to be there to help me anymore, so I need to be prepared, to accept like the responsibility of my, my financial life. So yeah, I've been preparing just by saving a lot of my money.
I think I'm in the same exact position as Christian, but like my parents are paying for college, but there's definitely going to be added on things every single day I go once I'm there and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I'm the fourth child, so I kind of like chose more of a college that's like a little bit, I mean, it's hard to choose any college that's less expensive, but like, I think again with them just saving up my own money, and like when you need to get food, or if you're like tuition for food ran out or something like that, you need to like learn how to buy yourself.
Mm-hmm. And so you're the fourth one in the family, and all of your siblings, are they currently in college, graduated?
So 2 of my siblings are out of college, and my brother's in law school right now, which is he's paying for. And then my other sister is a senior in college, so she'll be out of college when I go into.
And have they given you advice on college planning?
Yeah, I think so. They talk about how, I mean, especially like I'm going to spend a lot of money on coffee. I already know that. So I think that now saving up for that, because that's not going to go into my tuition, it's going to myself. So I think, yeah, they've talked about just kind of saving up. That's why getting a more intense job this year, which is what I did, instead of just reffing, and saving up probably over the summer and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Good. I just have one more question to ask the panel, and it deals with social media. So your generation is on social media all the time. I mean, every time I look at somebody, they're snapping a picture of their foot or face to put on Snapchat. I don't know why, but that's fun, but you do. And with that, those snaps and that social media comes advertisements. So every time you go online and search for a product, they are catering to you, all these ads and all these products. When you look at your social media accounts, your Facebooks or Instagrams or Snapchats, when you look at the ads that they feed you, do those products match your lifestyle?
So I'm a big tennis player, and I personally feel like tennis is a very expensive hobby because rackets can be like above $100, or even close to like $200, and bags are also really expensive. So I'll get a lot of advertisements for like rackets and stuff like that, and I feel like sometimes obviously a lot of the stuff I'm seeing is like brand new, so it's like, ooh, I wonder what would happen if I actually had this. So sometimes it does get me wondering, but I usually won't spend money because I just use what I have, and I don't really need to like update my stuff all the time.
I think almost all the ads I see are stuff I've either previously searched or stuff I'm already wearing. Otherwise, it's like products related to like clothes I have.
Mm-hmm.
I think mine's more what Christian said. For lacrosse, on my Instagram, they'll have like ads for a new lacrosse stick that's like specialized for defense, and then I'll think, oh, maybe I should like try that, or I'll like talk to my dad and be like, oh, this would be it. But I already have like a stick that I've been using, which is great. And I think again with the clothes and stuff and things, yeah, it's kind of creepy when you order something and it's like that just showed up on my Instagram. Don't know how that happened, but.
And how often do you react to that advertisement when you see it? Do any of you immediately react and say, I need to have this right now?
I usually just scroll past it.
Scroll past it.
I mean, I think the thing with ads is if I actually see the product being used in real life, then I'll take a second glance at the ad, because sometimes obviously ads are hard to believe, but if you do see it and you see it works, then sometimes it's just hard to pass up.
Well, that wraps up our segment for Muddy Talks. Thank you all. Thank you, members. It was great information today, and talk to you soon.